There are houses people avoid, and then there are houses that avoid people. Blackridge House stood at the end of Marrow Lane like a forgotten memory. No lights, no neighbours, no reason to be there. Yet every few years someone moved in, and every time they left, or something left instead. A dark blue sedan pulls up in front of the rusted iron gate. EMILY, cheerful, forced optimism. It just needs a little cleaning, that's all. Daniel staring at the house. It needs more than cleaning. The paint peeled like shedding skin. The windows looked blind. Lily pressed her face to the glass. Lily whispering, "Someone's upstairs." Daniel freezes. "Daniel, what did you say?" "Lily, she moved when I looked at her." Narrator: Blackridge House wasn't abandoned. It was waiting. Boxes are carried inside. Dust floats in the fading evening light. Emily finds an old framed photograph left on the mantel. A family of 4, but their faces, scratched out, deeply, violently. Emily calling out, "Daniel, did the landlord mention previous tenants?" Daniel from upstairs, "No, just said they never stay long." EMILY, who doesn't? Lily, the tall lady. Daniel and Emily exchange a look. Midnight, the house creaks in unnatural rhythm, not settling, breathing. Daniel wakes up to the sound of whispering, soft, right beside his ear, but Emily is asleep. He turns slowly, nothing there. The whispering continues. From the hallway, Daniel steps outside the bedroom. The hallway stretches longer than it did before. That's impossible. He walks forward, each step heavier. At the end of the hall, a door he doesn't remember, slightly open. Dark inside, breathing from within. Not human breathing. Wet, slow. He reaches for the handle. The door slams shut violently. Daniel jumps back. Lights flicker, and every door in the hallway slowly opens at once. But no footsteps, just dragging, then silence. Daniel grabs a flashlight. Emily grabs his arm. EMILY, don't, too late. He climbs. Each step into darkness feels wrong. The air colder, thicker. The flashlight flickers, revealing scratches on the wooden beams, thousands of them, like something tried to claw its way out, or in. Then the beam lands on something hanging from a rope. Daniel gasps. Dead battery, even though it was full. Lily is drawing at the kitchen table. Emily freezes. The drawing shows the house, with 3 stick figures outside, and 1 tall black figure inside an upstairs window, watching. But that's not what terrifies her. There are only 3 stick figures outside. EMILY, voice shaking. "Lily, where's Daddy?" Lily looks confused. Some houses are haunted. Some houses are hungry. Blackridge House learns. Emily doesn't move. Daniel stands behind her, still smiling, still silent, too silent. "Daniel, what are you doing?" He tilts his head, just slightly, like he's trying to understand how humans move. "I'm standing." His voice is correct, but flat. No warmth, no breath behind it. Lily keeps drawing. Unbothered, Emily slowly steps toward him, touches his hand. Ice cold, not just cold from weather, cold, like stone in winter. You fell last night, from the attic. Are you hurt? A pause, too long. Then, I did not fall. Emily's heart skips. She saw him fall. She held him. She heard him scream. Behind Daniel, for half a second, a tall shadow stretches upward toward the ceiling, then snaps back into him, like it's attached. Emily walks into the kitchen pretending everything is normal. Her hands shake. She opens the cabinet. Inside an old landline phone. Yellowed plastic. Not theirs. It wasn't there yesterday. It begins ringing. Loud, shrill, echoing unnaturally through the house. Daniel doesn't react. Lily doesn't react. Only Emily hears it. She answers. Static, then whispering. Layered voices overlapping, and one clear sentence beneath them. He's still upstairs. The line goes dead. Emily slowly turns toward the hallway. The attic hatch is slightly open again, but Daniel is standing in front of her, watching, smiling. Emily kneels beside Lily. Sweetheart, is that Daddy? Lily stops drawing, looks toward Daniel, studies him, shakes her head. No. Emily's breath catches. She likes pretending. Emily feels the air change. The house feels aware. Emily grabs Lily's hand, pulls her toward the bathroom, locks the door. The light flickers. Water drips from the faucet, even though it's off. We're playing a game, okay? Don't make any noise. Footsteps outside, slow, measured, stop right at the door. A gentle knock. Emily, why are you hiding? Silence. Then the doorknob slowly turns. Locked. It keeps turning anyway. Metal bending, twisting, as if the lock is melting. Lily covers her ears. Then suddenly, the knocking stops. Footsteps retreat, but they go upward, toward the attic. A loud crash from above. A real scream. Not flat, not emotionless. Terrified, Emily unlocks the bathroom door, runs into the hallway. Daniel, the smiling one, is gone. The attic hatch is wide open. She hears something dragging above, and someone crying. Emily grabs the flashlight from the drawer, climbs slowly. Each step creaks louder than before. The attic air feels heavy. The beam of light shakes in her hand. And then she sees Daniel, tied to a wooden beam, mouth taped, eyes wide with panic. He's alive. He's been here the entire time. Emily rips the tape from his mouth. It's not me. Don't look at it. The attic temperature drops instantly. Frost forming on wooden beams. And behind Emily, footsteps. She turns. The other Daniel stands in the corner, but taller now. Limbs slightly too long. Smile stretching wider than skin should allow. You weren't supposed to find him. Its voice overlaps with something deeper, something ancient. The mannequin from last night hangs behind it, except now it's not a mannequin. It's moving, twitching. Emily cuts Daniel free. They stumble toward the hatch. The creature moves fast, not walking, gliding, crawling along the beams, upside down. The flashlight dies again. Darkness. Daniel pushes Emily toward the ladder. Take Lily. Run. The creature drops to the floor with a wet thud, right in front of them. Its face flickers between Daniel's and something hollow, eyeless, jaw unhinged. It lunges. Daniel slams the attic hatch down. They hear it slam into the wood from above. Once, twice, 3 times, cracks forming in the ceiling. They grab Lily, run outside, rain pouring. They don't stop until they reach the tree line behind the house. Daniel collapses, gasping. We're leaving now. Daniel shakes his head slowly. It won't let us. Behind them, Blackridge House lights up. Every window glowing, but no electricity is connected. In the upstairs window, the tall shadow stands, watching. Then, another shadow appears beside it, smaller, child-sized. Emily slowly looks down at Lily. Lily looks back at the house, smiling faintly. She says, "We can't leave yet." Thunder cracks. The front door of the house slowly opens by itself, inviting. The old house stood on a hill, a dark silhouette against the stormy sky. They said it was a steal, a bargain. The Millerstone, Sarah, and their daughter, Lily thought it was a dream come true, a new start. But as they stepped over the threshold, the heavy oak doors slammed shut behind them, the sound echoing like a final judgment. That was the first sign, the first of many. At first, it was subtle, a misplaced photo, a door found ajar that was sworn to be closed. Tom would joke about their quirky new home. Sarah would force a laugh, her eyes betraying a flicker of unease. Little Lily was the first to truly see it. She'd talked to a friend named Alice, a girl who lived in the walls. Her drawings started to change. Innocent stick figures replaced by shadowy forms with too many limbs and hollow eyes. One evening, Sarah was in the kitchen, humming to herself as she prepared dinner. She reached for the salt, but her hand passed right through the shaker. She blinked, tried again. Solid. She shook her head, blaming fatigue. But later that night, as Tom went to check on a flickering light in the hallway stretched. It became an impossible, infinite corridor, the door at the end shrinking to a pinprick of light. Panic seized him. He turned to run back, and suddenly he was back in the living room, heart pounding, sweat beading on his forehead. The house was playing with them. The reality of their prison became undeniable. Windows showed scenes that weren't their sun-drenched beach, while a storm raged outside, a bustling 1920s street scene that vanished in a blink. The layout of the house shifted constantly. The stairs would lead to the basement one moment, and a brick wall the next. They were trapped, not just within four walls, but within a malevolent, shifting reality, controlled by the house itself. Desperate, Tom and Sarah started searching for answers. They tore through old papers in the attic, the dust of forgotten decades choking them. They found a diary, its leather cover cracked with age. It belonged to a family, the Vanderbilts, who had lived there a century ago. The entries started with joy and hope, just like theirs. Then, the tone shifted. It spoke of whispers in the walls, of rooms changing, of a daughter named Alice who played with an unseen friend. The final entry was a single, frantic sentence. It feeds on our fear. It wants us to become part of its collection. They realized Lily's imaginary friend, Alice, was a ghost, a previous victim. The entity in the house wasn't just haunting them, it was trying to absorb them, to make them permanent fixtures in its ever-changing collection of souls. The fear they felt was its sustenance. "We can't be afraid anymore," Sarah said, her voice firm, a newfound resolve in her eyes. "That's how we fight it." They found Lily in her room, talking to the empty air. "Alice says we can't leave. She says we'll be here with her, forever." Tom knelt down, looking his daughter in the eye. "Lily, we are leaving. Together. Alice is scared. But we don't have to be." Guided by a sudden, shared instinct, they moved towards the heart of the house, the grand, decaying parlor. The air grew thick, cold. The shadows writhed, coalescing into a grotesque, shifting form in the center of the room. It had no definite shape, just a swirling mass of darkness and despair, filled with the faint, screaming faces of its past victims. It pulsed with their terror. Instead of screaming, they stood their ground. They focused on their love for each other, on their shared memories outside these cursed walls picnics in the park. Lily's first day of school, the warmth of the sun on their faces. They projected not fear, but courage and unity. The shadow figure recoiled, screeching, its form wavering as it was starved of the fear it craved. "You have no power over us," Tom yelled, his voice echoing with a strength he didn't know he possessed. The faces in the shadow began to fade. The house groaned, the very foundations shaking as if in agony. With one final desperate push of their will, they charged, not at the entity, but towards the front door. This time, it felt real, solid beneath their hands. They burst out into the storm, collapsing onto the wet grass, gasping for air. Behind them, the house gave a final mournful shudder, and all its lights went out, leaving it a dark, silent tomb on the hill once more. They didn't look back, they just ran. Opening low rumble, with splintering narrator measured, darker. Every prison has a prisoner, every haunting has a beginning, and every monster once had a name. Scene 1, the name in the wood. The carved name burns brighter. Eleanor Blackridge's tall lady recoils as if struck by something invisible. Her elongated limbs twitched violently. The basement walls tremble. Water ripples outward in perfect circles. EMILY, realizing, "That's you." The tall lady's hollow eyes lock onto her. For the first time there's fear. The tall lady voice fracturing. "That name is buried." Daniel steps forward despite the rising water. "Real Daniel, you weren't always this." The tall lady's shape flickers rapidly. For a split second, she looks human. A woman in a dark Victorian dress, pale skin, sharp cheekbones, eyes filled with something broken. Then the monstrous form snaps back into place. Scene to what happened in 1893, the basement shifts around them. The present dissolves. The walls rebuild themselves. Fresh stone, dry floor, lantern light. They are no longer alone. They are watching. A younger version of Eleanor stands in the center of the basement, human, terrified, surrounded by three men. townsmen, holding tools, shovels, chains. Narrator, Eleanor. Blackridge was accused of bringing sickness to the town. Children vanished, crops failed, animals were found drained of blood. Fear doesn't need proof, it only needs a target. The men chain her to a beam. She screams, not monstrous, human, pleading. They seal the basement door above her, brick by brick, leaving her in darkness, alive. The vision shifts. Days pass, no food, no light, no air. Her nails scrape the stone, thousands of scratches, layer over layer. The same scratches Daniel saw in the attic. Narrator. She didn't die that night, she changed. Her shadow detaches from her body, stretches across the walls, consumes the lantern light. And when the men return days later, the chains are empty. The basement is silent, except for breathing. From inside the walls, scene 3 back to the flooded basement, the vision shatters. Water is now waist deep. The tall lady's voice shakes. The tall lady. They buried me. They left me in the dark. Her monstrous form flickers again. More human now, more unstable. Emily, steady, firm. You trap families the way they trapped you. The tall lady tilts her head slowly, processing the tall lady. I keep the house full. There it is. Not hunger, not pure evil. Isolation, twisted into something violent. Scene for the attic opens. A deafening crack splits the ceiling. The attic floor collapses downward, and from the darkness above shadows pour out. Not one, many. Shapes of former tenants, half-formed, faceless, whispering. Daniel recognizes one. The duplicate version of himself. Watching, waiting. Real Daniel. Quietly, they're not gone. The tall lady's control is slipping. The shadows begin circling her, not serving her, resisting. Narrator. When you trap enough souls in one place, eventually, they stop being quiet. Scene 5. Lily steps forward. Water rises to Lily's chest. Emily pulls her back. But Lily steps forward again, calm, unshaken. Lily, you don't want us. The tall lady looks down at her, conflicted. Her monstrous limbs retract slightly. Lily softly. You want them. She points at the shadows. The trapped ones. The forgotten ones. The tall lady turns slowly toward the swirling forms. Her voice cracks again, less layered, more human. The tall lady, almost whispering, they left me. Scene 6. The real choice. The basement begins collapsing inward, foundation stones falling, the house screaming above them, not metaphorically, actually screaming, wood bending, glass shattering, pipes bursting. The tall lady looks between the Carters and the shadows. She has to choose, keep feeding the house, or release it. Emily, firm, clear. You're not the house, you're the prisoner. Silence, heavy. Then the carved name on the table ignites fully. Flames spread across every carved name, burning through decades of victims. The shadows begin dissolving into smoke. The tall lady lets out a sound that isn't rage. It's grief, deep, ancient. The basement walls crack open. Light pours in from outside for the first time in over a century. Scene 7. The collapse. The house begins folding inward on itself, not exploding, imploding, like it's caving into its own shadow. Daniel grabs Emily. Emily grabs Lily. They run for the stairs, but the stairs crumble. No escape upward, only forward through the collapsing foundation wall where light shines through. The tall lady stands in the center of the basement, half human, half shadow, watching them go. The tall lady, quiet, almost peaceful. Leave. For the first time it's permission. Ending. The house falls. They stumble out into the rain-soaked yard. Behind them Blackridge House caves inward completely. Wood splintering, windows shattering, the attic collapsing last. Dust rises into the stormy sky, and then silence. Only a pile of debris remains. No walls, no roof, no shadow in the window. Daniel falls to his knees. Emily hugs Lily tightly. They're alive. It's over, right? The rain stops instantly. Too instantly. Lily slowly looks down at her hands. There are faint scratch marks on her fingers, like someone tried to hold on. She looks back at the rubble. Something shifts beneath it, very slightly, just once. When something ancient breaks, it doesn't die. It spreads. Police cars line the edge of Marrow Lane. Firefighters stand near the smoldering debris, but something feels wrong. There is no ash on the grass, no burn marks on nearby trees. The ground beneath Blackridge House looks untouched, as if it simply folded into itself. An officer approaches Daniel. He said the house collapsed. Daniel turns. There is nothing behind him but an empty field. No rubble. No debris, no foundation stones. Just tall wet grass moving in the breeze. Emily's breath catches it. Was right here. The officer studies them carefully. There hasn't been a house here in over 50 years. Silence. Heavy. Unnatural. Later that day, at the town records office, old newspapers sit on a wooden table. Daniel flips through brittle pages, finds it an article dated 1893. Headline: Blackridge family disappears after house fire. Emily leans closer. The article describes smoke, visible for miles. Neighbors reporting screams. But when townsmen arrived, there was no fire, no bodies, and no house, only an empty lot. It's been resetting. Daniel nods slowly. It traps, it feeds, it collapses, then it waits. A cycle. Not a haunting, a mechanism. Back at the motel that night, Lily sits on the bed with her notebook, drawing again. Emily hesitates before looking. Then she does. The drawing shows an empty field, 3 stick figures walking away, and far in the distance, a small house outline, faint, transparent, watching. But something else is new. Next to the house stands a tall figure, not shadowed, not monstrous, just a woman in a long dress, arms at her sides. Still. Is she still there? Lily shrugs slightly. She's smaller now. That night, Daniel dreams. He stands in the basement again. But it's dry, clean, silent. Eleanor stands in front of him, fully human. No distortion. No hollow eyes. Just tired. I did not build the house. Daniel feels something shift in the air. Then who did? Eleanor looks upward, toward where the house would be. Her expression tightens. It was never wood and stone. The basement walls begin dissolving, revealing not dirt, not foundation, but darkness, stretching infinitely outward. Something vast, breathing, slow, patient. It wears places. Daniel wakes up gasping. Morning light filters into the motel room. Daniel explains the dream. Emily listens carefully. Neither dismisses it. They can't, so the house wasn't the source. Daniel shakes his head. It was a mask. Silence settles between them. Then Lily speaks from the window. It's looking for another one. They return once more before leaving town. The field remains empty, quiet, too quiet. Daniel kneels and touches the soil. It's cold, colder than it should be in daylight. A faint indentation marks a perfect square in the grass, the size of a foundation, barely visible. But there, waiting. Emily turns to leave, and freezes. For half a second, in the reflection of the car window, Blackridge House stands behind them, fully restored, windows glowing, attic intact, a shadow watching from above. She blinks. It's gone, just a field. They drive out of town. Miles pass. The road feels lighter, safer. Relief begins settling in, until Lily speaks softly from the back seat. Mom. Emily looks in the rearview mirror. Yes. Lily smiles gently, calm, to calm. When we move to the new house, can we pick one with the basement? Daniel's hands tighten on the steering wheel. The car radio suddenly turns on by itself. Static fills the speakers. Then, a familiar layered whisper, faint, almost distant. Keep the house full. The radio shuts off. Silence returns. Daniel slowly looks into the rearview mirror. For just 1 second, Lily's reflection isn't Lily. It's Eleanor, standing still, watching him. Then it's normal again. Lily tilts her head slightly, just slightly, the same way the tall lady once did. Some evils are destroyed, some are forgiven, and some simply move in.